be in my bedroom talking to on Zooms with like all the different labels, like and my roommates would be like at the door like listening in, and I'd be like, hey, like what's up, like it was just a crazy couple weeks of like
So this podcast is all about you and your journey in music, how you got to where you are now, and we'll talk all about your brand new record as well.
yay.
Awesome,
Woohoo, thanks
awesome.
for having me.
Yes. So you said you're in New York City. Is that where you were born and raised?
Not born or raised. Oh,
Okay.
well, I was raised here kind of, but I was born in Sweden, and uh
Wow.
I'm half Dutch, so I've moved around a bit. I moved to London and then New York, and then I went to middle school in Hong Kong, and then I moved back here for high school, and I still live here.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
so I've been moving
Wow.
around a lot. Uh-huh.
Did you travel some like your parents' work or like what was moving you around the world?
Yes, it was for their work. As I was growing up, they were journalists, so we
Right.
moved around following
That
their jobs. Uh-huh.
that's a rad career path to kind of be a part of, I'd imagine.
Uh-huh. It was definitely cool. I speak Chinese and well, Dutch at home, but totally big part of my life moving around, and I still want to keep doing it as when I'm older and forever. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and you have a kind of a career path that will allow that, right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm excited.
That
Mm-hmm.
is awesome. How did you get in music?
Crazy question. Yeah, I guess I started just as a choir kid in like second grade, or I wanted to sing at the school talent show, and
Mhm.
it kind of just started from there. Um I was in choirs just everywhere I moved. I would always join the choir, and I all my friends were just musical friends, and my safe space was being in the choir room in middle school. And then I moved back to New York for high school. And there my school had this a cappella group that was so cool, and I was in the a cappella group, and all my best friends were in the a cappella group. And I did jazz band, and I did kind of opera too, and I did like all different types of singing. I was just always in the musical universe. And then in about 10th grade, I guess I had a little heartbreak that felt big at the time, and I
Mhm.
wrote
As
my
they do in 10th grade,
as they really freaking do. Um,
right?
and then I wrote my first song about it, and then my friend was kind of like, hey, what if I make you write 6 songs? I was talking about how I loved writing songs, and I was like, wait, I need someone to like I don't know, let's I asked her to make me sign a fake contract to write like 6 songs by December by winter break, and we did, and then I just started writing all the time, and
Wow.
yeah.
What a cool goal to have.
Right.
Are you still in contact with this person?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. We have this piece of paper. Like we've kept this piece of paper for like I don't know 8 years now. Yeah.
That's
Uh
rad. That'll definitely be something I'm sure you'll frame up in your house in 20 years from now.
huh. Uh huh. Yeah. So it kind of started then, and then I started doing shows around the city. Like I would just book a like random pub or like a little venue. Well, like the bitter end, these tiny little venues, and
Mhm.
invite as many people as I could, and they I would just play all the songs that I had been working on, and it slowly started growing from there. Yeah.
Wow. Do you play an instrument or
Yeah, I play piano, guitar, yes.
I
Oh,
thought so. So when did you start playing piano? Was that like a very early thing?
actually, I'm self-taught piano. Like I have terrible technique. It's hilarious when a piano player watches me play. It's so embarrassing. I like the way I touch the keys is like disgusting. But I kind of just like learned all the chords, and like that my knowledge is very like fake and simplistic, but I can play the chords I want to play. Yeah.
I find that cool though, to be honest. Like I've talked to musicians that have no training and it was just kind of like them fumbling around on a guitar or piano and they're
Right.
coming up with these notes and sounds that are totally different than if you were like at Berkeley and they're like, no, 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 no. These notes need to go like this and like you're not following the correct music theory. Like I think there's just something special about that.
Totally, it keeps it like in the realm of play, and it's cool. I am ready to like solidify some of my knowledge after I graduate college. I will take on those projects a little more deeply. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay. And what about guitar? When did that come into your life?
Guitar, yeah, same story. I guess um yeah, I picked up my first guitar in like 8th grade. I guess I've been playing piano a bit longer. Yeah, I it was also just like learning off YouTube videos and then learning bar chords and like yeah, it's also just cheat ways to play and just like learning specific songs I liked, like Strokes songs and um yeah, it's still
Well,
that.
it's not cheating, right? I mean, I can very, very poorly play guitar, but I'm a bit older than you, so it was like guitar tabs that I would learn and like, you know, you're trying to figure it. It's all about just trying to tinker around and figure it out. But with
Right.
YouTube, it's a bit better, I would think, because you can see the person's hands and you go, okay, this is how the
True.
song goes. But
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I think playing an instrument's important. I'm definitely better at piano probably.
Mhm.
Um and I write more based on piano for sure.
Did you write that first song on piano?
Yep. Yep.
Did you ever play it for the person that you wrote it about?
Oh gosh, no. He into New York City. Who knows? Who knows? No.
Okay.
Yeah.
So once that song was written, though, your friend must have thought like, "Whoa, you have some talent. Obviously, like you need to write more, and you know we'll get these 6 songs done." And do you finish the songs in the time period you allowed yourself, or was it like, oh, at this point, I'm just gonna keep going. I don't care.
Yeah, that was like my junior year of high school, and then I think I someone challenged me to write like I don't know, like it- I liked having these number goals of how many songs I would write. Like I think I wrote like 100 songs in that year. Like
Wow.
totally. And then the one one of those songs ended up like being um the first song that I put out, which was Shoot and Run. So a year later, it was my senior year, and we got to think of like a final senior year graduation project. And my project was I was going to get one of these songs produced, I picked this one, Shoot and Run, that my friends like was a catchy one, and that kind of is what started my career. I put it on Spotify, and like the New York City, like other high schools, like knew about it, and everyone, like,
Whoa.
yeah, and it spread on like social media, and then it got picked up by a like random German playlist, like a few months after I put it out, and it's still like my one of my bigger songs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's huge on Spotify. I mean, you're looking at like nearly 7 million people have played it.
Yeah, crazy. And it was my graduation project. Yeah, it's
That
crazy.
is so cool. So, and then when did you put it? And obviously, it made your first EP that you put out.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so once that song starts doing things, then what do you do? You're like, oh my gosh, like obviously validating.
Right, totally. I was hype. I was always very active on social media, and so I was just like shamelessly like, "Hey guys, thanks so much!" Like so hype on it. Like I went to an all girls and other genders school, and it was just such a warm place to like explore things. And like my classmates were so supportive. I just like was not afraid to like promote this music, and like everyone was just like, "Yeah, we love it, woo!" And I was like,
That's cool.
"Yeah!" It felt
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, and it was senior year, like top, we were on top of the world. It was awesome. And then I took a gap year after that. Between high school and college, I'd gotten into college, and I was gonna take a gap year. And then let's see, there's multiple lengths of there's like the long version and short version. I had this gap year, and I was like promoting music. I made a few songs, more songs with the producers who made Shoot and Run, and we made a different EP called High School High, which is not on Spotify anymore. And then I put that out. Yeah, I did some more shows, and then I found my manager by the end of my gap year, and he put me in different sessions. Put me in a session with Alexander Glantz, Alexander 23, and we made stuff
Wow.
Starsick and Plans. And I went to
Hmm.
LA for the first time, and um, met producers, and like realized I could like pick every sound in the production, and like started finding like what palette like felt like me, and I learned so much more about production. And then I started college, and my whole like friend group in college was just creative and so supportive, and like it's just slowly kept building the past like yeah since I've been in college, and now I'm a senior in college.
Wow. And we go to Syracuse?
I know I've just played at Syracuse
Oh,
like last week is probably where you.
yeah, I saw that, but I just assumed that you went there.
Oh no, I go to Columbia in New York City, so
Oh, wow. Just as massive and prestigious of a school, right?
I'm in my yeah senior year, trying so hard to finish. And
Are you going for music?
no, I'm not. I'm a philosophy major and an English minor, and yeah, yeah.
Well, that's cool though. I'm sure that helps with your lyrics.
It does. It does. I love it. I mean, it's great to have. It's been. I've always just been interested. I'm a curious person. I've always just yeah. I'm not. Yeah, it's not. I don't want to say it's not music ride or die. That's not true, but it's. I believe. I don't know. I read this book. I was always like debating between my interests in like, I don't know, doing something in the world and music, and I read some book that was like it's. I forget what it's called. Maybe it's How to Steal Like an Artist. Perhaps. Do you know that book?
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, yeah. The art. I know what you're. I know. It's something along those lines. I know exactly what you're talking about, but I can't think of the name either.
Wait, I think it could be that. Maybe
Is
it's
it
not.
the art of the steal, or is
Oh,
it or
it's
no? Because there's
like
the art of the deal. I don't know.
it's like a little picture book, kind of like maybe
Uh,
whatever. Great. I think it's
it's a book.
yeah, How to Steal Like an Artist. And they're like, do not choose between your passions. Never let. Of course, we don't have to choose between our passions. Like we're all interdisciplinary, different layered people, and like yeah. So the philosophy, the school part of my life and my brain is so contributes to my music, and my music contributes to my school part for sure. And yeah, I hope to never choose my passions. They all get to live. Yeah.
I love that. I love that. And after having, obviously the success of Shoot and Run, you also have had with One More Weekend a huge song.
Yeah.
And was that like the next kind of big milestone victory in your career?
Yeah, kind of. So after my freshman year of college, I put out Starsick EP. So it was like
Hmm.
6 songs I made throughout that year. And then I started early in the pandemic, like with Furniture, yeah, and then One More Weekend. And then One More Weekend has had this moment like um yeah, it's funny. It hasn't had a specific moment. It's just like slowly building, and it's still going, and we're all just like, what's happening? Like it's cool. I love that song. Yeah, it goes really hard live. I've just had 2 shows in the post-pandemic world and um mid-pandemic world, and it is yeah, it's a fun song. It's a fun song.
Hmm. Was
Uh-huh.
that, and that kind of popped off initially on TikTok?
Like, I don't know how much it wasn't ever like a viral sound on TikTok or
Uh-huh.
anything, but like my videos singing it or doing it, um, have gone have had a couple viral moments, but
Uh-huh.
um I don't know. I guess it's like people become fans from TikTok, from seeing me like promote my music on TikTok. And then it's just been slowly spreading. I don't think it's been like TikTok viral technically.
Got
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah,
just everything is just, yeah, it's kind of had a bunch of moments that drew it to where it is now.
exactly,
And you
exactly.
just released your latest record, Strangers Forever. I
Oh,
love that. And you also have a big a record label now, right?
oh my goodness, yeah.
What
I
was that like? Talk to me about getting that deal. And like, I mean, you're in college still. Like, I would imagine that's something you're like, well, now I have this, kind of a new journey, new path in life, right?
uh-huh. Totally, totally, totally. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I guess it was in one of these TikTok moments where like a couple TikToks at once, like moving about last February. And I had been independent. I was with the distributor for like a few songs, like 4 songs. And oh my goodness, yeah, like this song Walk Backwards. A few of my videos were just moving at once, and One More Weekend was moving and everything. And then the label started reaching out, and it was like deep COVID. Like it was, yeah, I was like at home, and this week of like you're told about of like, then the labels all want to take you to dinner, and then they're all
Right.
you, and it was all in my bedroom. Like I was all on Zoom. I'd get dressed up, put like my cool artist outfits on, and like be in my bedroom talking to on Zooms with like all the different labels, like and my roommates would be like at the door like listening in, and I'd be like, hey, like what's up, like it was just a crazy couple weeks of like, oh my god, I was kind of stressed. I was also giddy. Like I got a bad grade on like some essay because I like was did stop doing work. I was like, oh my god, and then yeah, one label kind of narrowed down, and yeah, then I signed like in June. Turns out it takes a freaking second, but
Of
I
course.
signed in June, and then I was in LA this past summer, doing sessions every day. It's been a big transition to be with a label. I think I'm still getting my foot in, and
Hmm.
yeah, I put out 2 songs with them now, and yeah, I want to talk about it though. Yeah. Mm,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. There's Strangers Forever is the EP that's out.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Like
Was that a was that what came out of those LA sessions, or did you
yeah,
have a prior? Okay.
yeah, they came out of those LA sessions. Well, they were all Strangers Forever is like 6 pieces, 6 little pieces of songs that I wrote during like 2020 COVID quarantine home every day. For 6 little pieces that I brought in, and then they all became like a massive song. Yeah. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, yeah, no, it does. So once you make it, so you come out there, and what was it like working with these producers and like these big? Was that overwhelming, intimidating?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I did most of my time. I think I really just prefer working with I doing a bunch of days with one person, and go being able to go deep and like with one person. And I was doing mostly like different sessions every day, like legit, like no days off. Like there were no weekends. I did at least fucking like I don't know. It would be crazy for it to be like 70 sessions, like back to back. Like, obviously, within the 70, I had days off, but over the summer, it was so many sessions for sure. And it was definitely hard. It was definitely hard, because that's not really how I get inspired. Like, I write mostly on my own, and I prefer to bring in something. And yeah, and I ended up making the things that it will come out with one producer who made One More Weekend with me, and he's like kind of the producer who I've done the most with, and we spent like about I don't know 6 weeks together over the summer making new music. Yeah.
Wow. And that was all done in LA?
Yep. Yep.
Wow. Okay. So, well, what was, you said you had like 6 like ideas that came in and
Mhm,
became
mhm.
Strangers Forever, but because you included what, like One More Weekend to some of the songs that you had already released. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, like every section of Strangers Forever was kind of like a totally separate idea that like
Oh.
merged. Like the verses were on their own, like good thing you wanna be over forever. And then I had a whole other song called Strangers Forever that was like Strangers Forever, and then that became the piece. And then I had another song that was like I love you but you wanna be somebody else's baby, like, and they all, I didn't know they were all the same song, like they were all just kind of sections. I frequently just build little sections and then
Oh, and you kind of intertwined it together.
totally, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. And you said you finished some other songs during those sessions as well that are kind of waiting to be,
Mhm.
well, you
Yes,
just put this record out.
yes, exactly. So we're finishing up this chapter. I really like this chapter's now finished up. It's I really like having them as like little chapters, these EPs, and like having them be on the same project with the same kind of thesis statement. Like this is definitely all this heartbreak written on reflecting on it, this specific heartbreak. Um and yeah, I think this EP is just like a is it's supposed to be heartbreak medicine. I do think all these songs can cure any heartbreak. And yeah, and now and then I started working on kind of what my next project will look like and planting those seeds, and hopefully that's my like debut album situation. I'm speaking it into the world. Um yeah, but it's like I'm so over writing about heartbreak. Oh my god, I don't want to write any more fucking love songs. So yeah, it's all about, it's kind of non-love songs. Perhaps love ends up, maybe I'll write a love song, who knows, but not a heartbreak. Yeah, like I'm just over that phase, and I wrote so much during my heartbreak, but so much, like too much. Like I lived in it because it was so fruitful and inspiration, and like oh my god, I am so excited to ask myself whole new questions about my music, what I'm trying to immortalize, and like what yeah, what's inside my body and soul, and yeah, so I'm so the next project is what keeps me going. I yeah, I'm very excited. Mhm.
That is super exciting. I don't know if you can share any. You said it's not about heartbreak. Is there like an underlying theme you have?
I mean, literally no one knows about this project except for me. Um, but like totally, I mean, I think it's a lot about like perhaps like entering like the world inside one's own head and just like exploring it. And it's a lot about New York. I think I've been trying to write an ode to New York, because this is so how I started making music, and everything's always been about New York. But like one final like kind of stuffing every my whole life, my whole young adult to now life in a bottle of yeah New York, and like the magicness of life and imagination and like inner worlds. Yeah, yeah,
I love it. Well, I love what you're doing so far. So I'm sure this is going to be equally, if not,
oh yeah.
amazing. So thank you so much. And I really appreciate you doing this. I have one more quick question for you before I let you go. I want to know if you have any advice for aspiring artists.
Ooh, so much. Yeah, I would try to write. I like my tips for it is totally trying to write like literally setting a number for how many songs, because it's sometimes I think we get like stuck on some songs we've written, and we there's better stuff inside of us that we haven't written yet. You got to just keep getting it out. So like write like 25 songs in like 3 months or 4 months or something, and one of those will, when you find the magic one, like I think it can really stand out. And then booking these shows, like I think just like booking a future date for a show like in advance, and like working towards that show, writing towards that show, and like literally just shamelessly self-promoting, like trying to get all your friends to come. I've had shows with 5 people in the audience, 2 people in the audience, like 47 people in the audience, however, and just like having these commemoration shows for all the things you've written, and like people are so excited to hear them. Like, yeah, so just doing it, like once you're doing that, once you're doing shows like that, like you're doing it. Yeah. But that's my advice. Bringing it backward.